And
What?
we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. Of course, it's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for joining us. It is, of course, Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here at the Lakers Fast Break Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in the world of pop culture each and every week, twice a week, where we get your podcast. Sorry, BC, I was told that, I don't know. Yeah.
Me, this guy.
Yes, I didn't know I was hosting until 11:58 when I woke up. I always have my alarm set up at 11:57 just in case something's going wrong with the Lakerholics.
That's me.
I was told. Yes.
Thank you, Gerald.
Did you forget what you were going to say, Joe? No, I just woke up, Joe. So it's, of course, it's Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching us. We truly appreciate it. Of course, I wanted to go ahead and thank everybody for being here. But of course, it is the Lakerholics Spotlight. And first off, you got to go ahead and check out Lakerholics.com. It is the place to go for opinionated words and descriptions and thoughts about what's going on with the world of Lakers right there for you at Lakerholics.com. Michael Heinrich is supposedly on his way, I believe. He's surfing in any minute now from Hawaii. Okay, there you go. Sounds good. But here today to go ahead and talk about the Lakers and the possible return of one LeBron James. By the way, we'll get John Costa a lot of money, hopefully, if that's the case. If this viewer that said that LeBron James wasn't coming back until the playoffs actually hones up to his bed. And then also as well, Rui Hashimura has been talked about as well. They are both listed as questionable for today, so we'll see what happens there. But here today to go ahead and talk about today's game and what's going on with the Lakers. Two great guys indeed. So far, we'll hopefully get a third here shortly. First up, we'll go ahead with the man that is the most popular blogger out there and also the most consistent blogger out there for the Lakers. It is, of course, Laker Tom. Laker Tom, great to have you here. I know that a lot of us are still kind of upset at the way the Lakers just punted a game, but they were able to go ahead and get away with it, kind of, because Denver and Memphis lost next day. They are still, though, 2 games back in the Western Conference of Houston, but they still have 2 games to play against Houston. So things could still work out for the number 2. We have been on the show all week saying how important and trying to stress to the community out there how important the number 2 seed is to a team that really plays much better at home and that the odds stack much more up in their favor when they do play more games at home, Laker Tom.
Oh, I think that, it's an interesting choice to go for playoff health over seeding. And the Lakers basically were able to pull that off. I mean, 6 games in 8 days and 3 back-to-backs separated by a day. And we still
was brutal, Tom. That was brutal.
So, I understand the approach to it, and I thought that the Bucks might have been nicer and just let Giannis have a day off too. It's going to be a difficult problem the rest of the schedule because we're going to see a lot of these games that are strategic. Who wants to play type games. We play OKC twice in OKC. I mean, what are we going to show them in those games? Nothing, probably. We play the Rockets twice. They're the only team in the West other than OKC that we do not have a tiebreaker advantage on. And if we win those 2 games, we'll get that advantage. And those both games are home games. And we are a home team. We're the 3rd best home team in the league. So I get a feeling that we're going to see a lot of weird lineups the rest of the year. I mean, it's a turn into load management month.
All right. Well, again, the concern is out there, but also here today to go ahead and talk to me about what's going on with the standings. And then again, want to give everybody update as far as when I can. If go to Lakers Fast Break on Twitter, on X, to go ahead and just find out the updates on LeBron James and Rui when we're told what's going on with that. But here today to go ahead and talk about what's gone on with the Lakers so far and their roller coaster ride in the Western Conference. Good man indeed. It is, of course, our own Jamie Sweet. Too sweet. What's going on, my friend? I'm trying the best I can. You got to help me out here.
I know,
but
I trust me. I know.
No worries.
It's getting to, weekends are getting fuller and fuller with a 7-year-old. It's just starting.
I hear you. I've done that twice, so I hear you.
Might need to find a different time to do this all. So,
well, we'll try to work things out here for the Lakerholics, but it is of course Jamie Sweet. Jamie, your thoughts on the Lakers roller coaster ride? Again, I know that we were back and forth.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah, sure, Michael.
Can somebody send me another login onto my email, and so I don't have to use my phone?
Yeah, I'll send it to you here ASAP, my friend. Go for it.
Yeah, because the other one wouldn't work, so I don't know what happened.
I will send it to you right now. You got it.
Great.
On its way.
Anyway,
all right, with that, my friend. No.
I
like Michael on his phone because we can see him. And when you're on your laptop,
but I don't want to just hold my phone for an hour.
Yeah, and it saps his battery. It saps his battery too.
We can see it.
Absolutely. But I want to go ahead and ask you, Jamie.
We've seen you, Michael, in a year.
When it comes to what's going on with the Lakers, I know our how did you feel about what went on on Friday? Excuse me, on Thursday in regards to that game. In regards to that game, in terms of nobody playing. Were you okay with the punt and the fact that Bronny James was on virtually every outlet talking? They didn't even talk about. They glossed over the fact that the Lakers lost by 500. All they cared about was Bronny getting his career high at 17. So that's all they cared about. ESPN, Yahoo, Sports Illustrated, USA Today, all these
I didn't have.
It's all about clicks.
I think there's a couple of things. Right, that was one reason. The other reason is anytime Luka sits and LeBron sits, this team's going to have a hard time winning. Like it's just as simple as that. So.
Well,
you need Rui and LeBron healthy. You need Rui and LeBron healthy. You need Luka healthy. You need Reeves healthy. After that, you can probably get away. I mean, Hayes, because you need a center, and we don't have one much. We don't have much of a center after that. Not one signed that can play on the playoff roster currently. So I'm going to mute you, Michael. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
Thanks. Anyway, there's a whole. Vanderbilt was quoted as saying, like, whatever we need to do, we just need to go into the playoffs healthy. And I think there is some wisdom to that. I also dropped on the last a couple of days ago. There was I went into the splits between how we perform on the road and how we perform at home, and everything's about 4% worse on the road. Field goal percentage, number of free throws we take, fouls we get called for, threes we take and make, everything's about 4% worse on the road, which is a pretty significant drop off. And if you have to play Denver on the road, I'll bet it's worse because Denver, you got to adjust to the altitude. They're already adjusted, so on and so forth.
OKC on the road,
can make
big advantage for them to play at home.
OKC's got home court advantage until they get knocked out. There's nobody that's done. That's over. Probably same with Cleveland. Cleveland and OKC, if they meet in the playoffs, I guess it's going to be OKC by a couple of games. But those two are running away with the regular season. They seem motivated to win to be the best team in the league in the regular season. I don't think the Lakers need to be the best seed. I would prefer 2 over 3, and I would prefer 3 over 4, and I certainly prefer 4 over 5 because you want to. And I just want to say it's great that we're not talking about the play-in. The last 3 seasons we've talked about. Oh well, let's hope we get. Maybe we could get to the 6th seed. And that was my prediction for the beginning of the season. I thought at 6th seed at best. And they've eclipsed that, help some with the trade, some with the revamped defense. Trade for Dorian Finney-Smith, I think, still goes under the radar as probably the move that's redefined the Lakers as much as Luka. I didn't hate on Bronny. I don't think it's worth anybody's time to hate on Bronny. He's the 55th pick in the draft. He's been playing well in the G League. He played well when he got extended minutes. That's great. End of story. I mean, the whole drama between Stephen A. Smith and LeBron, boring, don't care. They can go have a lunch and talk about it over a latte or whatever or bottle of wine or whatever.
I'd rather have a fist fight.
Actually, I've been watching The Starting Five on Netflix, and it's weird because it's a year ago. It's all filmed like a year ago. So Darvin Ham's still the coach, AD's still on the team, Karl Anthony Towns still a Timberwolf. They interview Anthony Edwards. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. I'm sure you have, but it's kind of interesting. But it just is what two things jumped out at me about that. One is the vast amount of turnover in the NBA every season. Like half the teams they show are have been blown up since then. And then also you forget that Bronny James had a heart attack. The kid had a heart attack on the floor. Okay, whatever you want to call it.
It's a big difference.
Okay, great. As a non-medical professional, I accept your wisdom. But you forget that he had a cardiac arrest on the court and could have died. And then was forbidden from doing, basketball-related activities for several months and has been working his way back into shape. Couple that with the fact that it wouldn't have mattered what team he was on. He was drafted by the Lakers, didn't help. An incredible amount of outside pressure and noise. And the fact that he's been able to tune all that out and just kind of go about his job, personally, I think is admirable. Do I have high expectations for him as a player? Not really. Do I expect him to be a factor in the playoffs? Absolutely not. But I don't hate on his success. I don't see his success as being some sort of anathema to the Lakers' success. It's just something that it's nice to root for the 55th pick in the draft. His name happens to be Bronny James. That's how I look at it. Some people might disagree. Fantastic. You go ahead and disagree. I don't really care. So that, that's my take on the whole Bronny James thing.
What's interesting about Bronny, though, is the way that the fans have reacted. I mean, that's really...
It's nice, I guess. It's
weird.
You
almost expect that you would hear some booze mixed in there, but the fans genuinely, I mean, I was there for that game against the Suns, and the fans, it's just amazing. And I think a lot of it is a credit to Bronny, the way that he has handled this, that the fans have really gotten behind him and supported him. And they really love this kid. This emotion is genuine. That you hear these people yelling in the stands for Bronny. It's not a joke. It's not a mime. It's not a meme. It's really.
At first, it started off very Chuck Nevitt like as far as a novelty, but whether or not this kid can actually play NBA ball, we'll have to wait and see. Again, in a 30-point blowout, when you've got no other Lakers there, he was a minus 36. Let's just put things in perspective as well. The team, has got to continue to give him a chance to develop, and we'll see what happens, whether or not he can become a legit NBA player. I'm still not convinced, and it's going to take a lot more for me to do so, because again, it came out a blowout. The Lakers had no chance. When he was on the floor, the team was substantially worse, and those are factors he's going to have to overcome right there. But let's get back to the Lakers into it. Again, he got enough pub from the outlets worldwide yesterday for his performance. But here today also as well, surfing in from the beautiful shores of Hawaii is a good man indeed. It is, of course, the guy who mediates Jamie and Tom right there for you at Lakerholics.com. Michael Heinrich, great to have you here. Glad everything is going out. Aloha, my friend. Your thoughts on the Lakers past week? Parade on Figueroa, one of our great followers on Twitch. He said, question for you in the panel. What do you think of the load management against the Bucks? Should we prioritize health over seeding? Laker Tom went into that at the beginning of the show. I got to go retouch that with the Lake guy, a.k.a. Jamie Sweet. Your thoughts, Michael, on... The second was back in reach, but we decided to take a day off. But outside of what Houston did, we didn't really pay the price for it so far.
No, we haven't. And that was, again, last night we were helped out. Joker's still out. Nuggets lost. Was it Memphis also lost? So we gained in the loss column in both of those teams. We're a game behind Houston in the loss column, but we play them twice.
Yeah.
So we have the opportunity to, get past them in those kind of games. I think it was the right move. It really was. You know, it wasn't even just, if you look at the prior game and you look at poor Austin Reeves at the end of that game, he could hardly stand, you know, and it was like, these guys are not just banged up, but they're exhausted. And so I had no problem with them, you know, conceding a loss to give those guys an extra day. You know, I think it was the right move. We have plenty of games left to, you know, if everything is so bunched together that you're going to see changes in that top 4, 5, 6 range probably every day, you know. So you're right there. It didn't kill us. What killed us was the injuries to, you know,
Yeah, LeBron.
part of the squad. You know, we had a couple of guys out at all times, and multiple guys on a few different occasions. So, you know, I mean, getting right health-wise, I think was the right move. The thing that really I liked, even in the blowout loss to the Bucks, was the hustle on defense. I mean, we hung in that game for for 2.5 quarters. Through about the mid-third quarter, we were still within 9 to 11 points at all times. And it was because of the hustle on the defensive end. This team is committed to defense, and that bodes well for the stretch run. You know, I mean, you know, I'm the thing about, you know, Bronny that impressed me was, you know, I watched quite a few of the South Bay Laker games. He looked the same that he says in the G League. When, you know, this last game, he looked exactly the same. He showed the same kind of confidence. And as far as the plus minuses goes, that wasn't on Bronny. Some of those other guys just sucked. I mean, really badly. So, you know, I mean, he was on the court when we were hanging in there too. So, you know, I mean, he had a good game. I'm not going to make too much out of it, but like I said, what impressed me was there wasn't any fall off between his G League performance and what we saw in that game, which bodes well for him. I mean, I think he could eventually be a rotation player, but it's down the road yet. But, you know, it was something positive out of a really bad situation. So, you know, it was a fun thing. So, but as far as, you know, tanking the game, you know, to be healthy, I really hope they can all play today. I think it's really important, not necessarily to try, you know, we don't need them all to win the game, but I think we need a game, since there's no practice time, I think we need a tune-up day. You know, they can use this as a practice. There's a tune-up game.
And JJ mentioned that because Rui and LeBron, on the way they're getting back together on the team as far as back in the rotation, they did not have any full practice time. JJ mentioned that because of the days so bunched together as far as the games are concerned. And speaking of that, Michael, I appreciate again everything that you bring on the show, along with you, Laker Tom. The status report, wanted to give everybody a heads up, that was just posted on X. You see there that, of course, right now
rated to probable.
Yeah, well, they were upgraded from questionable to probable. Yes, I did mention that in the Twitter. Yeah, so that's
at least LeBron is the only questionable.
Yes, so LeBron is the only questionable
this year, man. This is ridiculous.
But right now, Rui and Gabe are listed as probable, as updated by Mike Trudell. It's so funny because he shows this alongside the Lakers status report. So yes, as of now, only LeBron James is questionable, which again we see from every star. Your thoughts, Laker Tom? Does he play today? And like I said, like Michael said, very soundly, if they all play today to get into rhythm, that could help out on somewhere they're not great at right now is on the road.
I think you're right. It makes sense that Well, this is a home game, so you get a chance to get everybody together. You get a chance to see everybody play in their regular position. And I think one of the things that you got to be careful of when you losing your stars is putting Austin Reeves out there against the Bucks, for example. When people get injured in sports, it's usually when they're playing more minutes or in a more strenuous situation than they're normally accustomed to. If they do their normal time and so forth, it's like Thibodeau, basically. The scientists say that as long as he plays them the same way all the time, they get accustomed to that and they can handle that. It's when you change your rhythm and you're all of a sudden putting in more minutes, or you're having to do over because LeBron's gone and Luka's gone, then you can have somebody like Austin Reeves get injured. So I think I haven't seen any actual studies of this year, but I tell you, the eye test to me is that the injuries are getting worse and worse in the NBA. There seems to be more players that have had season-ending injuries this year than I can ever remember. And so I just hope, I just keep my fingers crossed and knock on wood that we can make it through the playoffs healthy. There are going to be 2 or 3 teams probably that are going to lose their chances at going any further in the playoffs because of injuries that are going to happen between now and the end of the year.
JJ had some interesting insights into that. He goes, it was completely different. The NBA was completely different from when he entered it, from when he exited it. And he goes, with the emphasis now on stretching the floor, guys are having to cover, the 3-point line all over the court. And he goes, it's just more strenuous. He goes, he was talking about, the old school guys will say, it was so physical and stuff like that. He goes, but this version of the NBA now is exhausting to play because everybody's spread out. You're rotating everything. You're having to get out on 3-point shooters all over the court. And it's exhausting. It really is. And so I think that has something to do with the amount of injuries you're seeing.
Makes sense to be careful, though. I mean, it just really does.
Yeah.
But again, it is the Lakerholics spotlight. It is, of course, Michael Heinrich and Laker Tom. Jamie Sweet is still away from his desk right now, along with me, Joe Glassford. Thanks again for joining us on this Lakers weekend. Don't forget, tonight, it is the Lakers and the Chicago Bulls. Game time tonight. Is it 7 or 7:30? 7:30. We'll have it
it's
for
4:30. It's 4:30 tonight.
Yes, 4:30 Hawaiian time. So you just now messed up our entire audience, especially the ones who try to figure it out in Australia. So yes, they're trying to calculate this now. Now you threw an extra 3 in there. But yes, it is 4:30 Hawaiian time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Also as well. Yes, we know, Rodell, you're telling us something we have told our audience 100 times. But if you guys want to give them a pass, that's fine. If the Lakers lose the second spot by a game, don't come running to us and crying to us. So we'll just leave it at that. But again, Laker Tom, the focus now should be going forward is with the Lakers playing against the Bulls tonight and then using that as a stepping stone for a good 4-game road trip. It is imperative that the Lakers do get back to at least 500 on the road, starting with what's going on here with tonight's game at the Bulls. What do they need to get worked out together, if assuming that LeBron does come back tonight to play in tonight's game?
Well, the schedule actually is all of a sudden, after that horrid stretch of 6 games in 8 days, we've got actually a very livable schedule looking for us, and we got winnable games, 5 or 6 winnable games staring us right in the face. So I think the most important thing is that just getting everybody back and starting to have a normal rotation, gearing up toward the playoffs. I don't think we're going to see a lot of experimentation. It's going to be interesting seeing who's the center they keep. I think they're going to keep Koloko over Jameson, but that's still to be determined because they're running out of time with those 2-way guys. So they're going to have to convert 2 of them at least. I'd like to see.
They won't do it until, because of cost, they probably won't do it until the last week or the last day.
It doesn't really matter now. They're able.
Are
to
they
do
under the
They're
800,000
under, they can
combined?
do all three of them right now and without any
Okay, because I like, again, when it escalates down or de-escalates down the amount that you have to pay
Yeah.
them for,
Well,
I know it has to total less than about
these are two-way players and getting
8,000.
converted to standard.
I think more than that, though, at this point, I think it'll be, who is anybody hurt?
Right.
Who do we need to replace?
Yeah, but they've already announced.
So they'll wait. They'll wait to the last day for each one of those guys. They'll wait to the very last time, and then
he gets hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, they say, okay, this guy's, we got to,
Although they did.
Jackson got hurt again, so we're going
to cut, though. They announced who they're going to cut.
Well, that's the rumor. They haven't announced it. I mean,
nobody announces that.
No, they don't.
No,
hey, Cam, we're cutting you in a week.
Yeah, well, yeah, but generally a week doesn't go by. When rumors come out that Cam is going to get cut, he's going to get cut. I don't think there's usually a delay there. I don't think you want to, and you basically want the other guys to know that they're like, there's three guys that could be promoted, and only two of them are going to get promoted apparently. So they probably want to let those guys know who they is, and they're going to be in the part of the rotation. They may be emergency glass type guys, but at least we've got to win games, and there because some games that maybe we don't want to win just because of this is a chance to rest somebody, I mean, the Bucks don't matter in the Western Conference for any of the seeding that we're after, so they're not a tiebreaker team for us, so we don't have to worry about that. And there are going to be some games like OKC where what do you want to show them? I mean, there's those Bronny games, man. Bronny may get a lot of starts down the stretch, if as long as we're locked up in a position. And I think the one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to play both OKC and Denver. You don't want to end up in the same bracket with the two of them. That's for sure.
Well, again, for me, it's about seeding, and it's about how high you need to be. And this Lakers team, which plays substantially better at home this season than on the road, needs to win as many games. So I don't want many Bronny games personally. The Lakers have to take it seriously. How they come out of that set in Oklahoma City may well determine if they can take a few days off or not, but we'll definitely wait and see. But Michael, the Lakers do need to get healthy and get right, and it looks like they're on the verge of doing that. Looks like, Doobie is already calling an 8-game winning streak. That's very Laker Tom positive like, and in so doing, that could vault them back up to second place against a team right now in Houston that's won 9 in a row. What is going so right in Houston that, again, it seemed like they were a nice team. They were on a stretch. They were in second place to Western Conference earlier this calendar year. Everything was going well. A young team that had taken that next step, maybe a little bit faster than a lot of people realized. They started a free fall. Everybody was expecting that free fall to continue to happen. But guess what? Ime Udoka, who doesn't get talked about enough as far as how good of a coach he is, has taken this primarily young team.
Yeah, Fred
does
got
have
really hot. That's what happened. Fred VanVleet.
Well, again, there's coaching involved as well. That takes this young team with primary young stars. Also made a very bold move. Jabari Smith Jr., what was he, number 3 pick and number 2 pick? That he was put back on as a guy coming off the bench. So all kidding aside, Ime Udoka has made some really good moves and has had some good play from some of the young stars in vaulting Houston into a position where they're now looking down at almost everyone else in the Western Conference, Mike.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't have a lot of confidence in Houston, basically because they can't play half-court offense very well. And they're not a good half-court offensive team. They're a run and gun, kind of ball club. those teams aren't nearly as formidable in the playoffs when everything slows down. And they're questionable shot makers as well. So, they're not one of the teams I'm the most concerned with. I think we beat those guys. It'll be interesting. We have 2 against them. They don't have that bruising center that's going to kill us. I mean, their center's skinny too, so Jackson can play with him. So there's other teams that I'm much more worried about than the Houston Rockets. I don't think they'll finish second. Whether we do or not, I don't think Houston will either. So that's just my take on the Rockets.
Okay, fair enough. And now with the Lakers playing the way they do, as far as everybody coming back into the lineup, Tom has his dream lineup once again, where again he had been saying for years, Laker Tomlin, as far as increasing the number of threes. And since the Luka trade, you've gotten your wish. The Lakers have been one of the top 3-point shooting teams in the league since getting Luka. And that does not look to stop anytime soon once everybody comes back there. What have you noticed by getting Luka? Again, a masterstroke. Again, some people still trying to rub their eyes and realize, he is here. Mark Cuban saying in interviews that he never would have traded him, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we get it. Fine, whatever. But your thoughts on this team, this new dynamic, the fact that it's now more reliant on 3-point shots, the fact that its defense is more about bunching up in the middle when they're all healthy and allowing a lot of 3-point shots. Your thoughts on how this will be going forward. This is your dream come true, Laker Tom.
It is.
Lakers team shooting 3-pointers.
It's all JJ Redick, man. I mean, what he's done offensively, it's Luka Doncic coming in, which solves the whole problem of how do we shoot more threes, how do we modernize the Lakers offense and so forth. What's interesting is I did a study of all the way up to January 31st, where we were offensively. And up at that point, we were pretty much the standard Lakers formula for the last few years. We were winning a few points on points in the paint and a few points on free throws, and we were losing a few points on 3-point shooting. Well, from February 1st on, and as all of us know who've been following the team, it's been a transition slowly and steadily to solve all of these problems, despite what's happening in the front office. JJ's been making moves, and the change that he made defensively has really just been astounding, because everybody's expectation was that Luka would come aboard and we would have a dynamite offense. We would be a juggernaut, You got Luka, LeBron, and Austin, and you got all this offense. But what are you going to do on defense? Well, the problem is that we're still struggling a little bit on offense. We're only in the middle of the pack offensively, but we're up at the top 5 defensively, even after suffering 5 days of, or half a dozen games of LeBron out. And the big difference is he's eliminated people switch hunting Austin Reeves and any of the Laker players, because every time you try to switch on them, we're going to just switch it back on you, and we're going to trap and double that person and then rotate and create chaos and hope that we're going to be able to go in there and swarm around and get a turnover. And that's been working. We've shut down all sorts of great players by basically doing in the regular season what we would have done in the playoffs. So the interesting challenge to me is going to be seeing exactly what have we kept secret for the playoffs. And one thing that you haven't seen yet, and you think about it, is we have not seen LeBron and Luka running a 2-man game against these guys. I mean, that is our biggest weapon that we've got in our back pocket.
Yeah, there's only been 6 games. There's only been 6 games.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're deliberately not showing that.
Well, you've seen teams in recent times with LeBron out, Tom. You've seen teams trap Luka right at the half court and go with that.
It hasn't really worked, though, because Luka's – it's just amazing how Luka and Joker have this ability that they don't go fast, but man, they control the speed and pace of the game totally, man.
Yeah.
And Luka has such gravity that there's always 2 or 3 guys open, it seems. It's really remarkable. I mean, when you compare the gravity that LeBron has on the exterior with Luka, it's no difference. It's the difference between a 40-year-old guy and a 25-year-old guy, man. I mean, guys saying that they've never had as many open shots as the Lakers are getting now. You can just see it. The numbers don't lie, and you can look at it in your eye test and see that every play he gets somebody wide open. It's like every single play, you know. They can force a few turnovers and so forth, but he's also
I think he's also averaging about 5 turnovers a game as a Laker. But yeah, I mean that comes with the usage, I think. But
it comes with the usage. I think that's something we have to, and that's what I had said originally at the Luka trade. This is the best thing that could happen to the Lakers. But when it comes to Luka, there are certain, like LeBron, there are certain things that you're just going to have to deal with. They are going to argue with the refs. They are going to have amount of turnover.
Not as much as he did before, though, and he's playing better defense. His defensive numbers are excellent.
His defensive numbers, he has played better defense since joining the Lakers.
He complains every time down. Let's not.
He is very good off the ball. He is very good at reading passes. From what I've seen from the other team,
got great anticipation in the passing.
Yeah, great anticipation. Getting deflections, I think is a really big thing with him. But Jamie, again, Laker Tom has his dream team now as far as the number of threes that are being put up by the Lakers.
How about that? We don't have a stretch five.
Yes, well, they're doing a lot to go ahead and make up for as far as the number of threes that they're taking. But this team getting back healthy, hopefully starting tonight, can make an impression now on the Western Conference. Where do you see them going? Do you see them overtaking Houston for second place in the Western Conference?
I don't know. That's going to be tough because Houston's kind of just gotten everybody back and they're rolling right now. They're playing some of their best basketball of the season. So it's going to be tough. I think we play Houston one more time, right?
Twice.
Well, those are clutch games. If we win both those games and we have the tiebreaker, then we've got a pretty good shot. If we lose one or both of those games against Houston, I don't think we can.
We're 0-1 against them so far. So
yeah, we need to win both. If we win both and have the tiebreaker, and that means we've forced them to lose, and we win, those thereby jumping up a full game in the state. That's 2 full games we can make up. Yeah. It's possible. We have to stay healthy. It would be great if somebody. I don't want to hope for injury, but if they weren't. A full roster, let's just say, for whatever reason, maybe Dylan Brooks gets suspended for 18 million technical fouls or something ridiculous like that. But let's be honest, like the 3 seed, you want to get as high as you want. If the Lakers end up at the 3 seed and they're healthy, I'm fine with that. I think that's solid.
OKC should be 1 and Denver could be 4, and I'd take 2 or 3 with
as long as we have home court advantage against Denver, I don't care.
Yeah,
that's the only team I care about home court advantage against. Everybody else, I'm fine playing on the road. OKC, fine on the road. Minnesota, fine on the road. Everybody else, fine on the road. The only reason is that Denver plays so much better at home. And
even with the Lakers under 500 this season on the road,
and the Lakers play poorly on the road as well. We're going to end up at about 500, and that's the mark of a team that is a playoff team. If you can be 500 on the road, we have a great home record. We're killing it at home.
A lot of that home losses were earlier in the year too, before we had this lineup. So
yeah, Rodell, I wouldn't shortchange Denver. They're coasting. They've coasted this season. It's obvious they're coasting.
Well, but they have some injury issues right now. Joker's hurting a little bit. His elbows are bothering him. His knees bothering him.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
He and Murray.
I basically stopped watching that game when they were up about 12 points consistently. And I think in the middle of the third quarter, I switched over to a movie. And I double-checked, although I double-checked a little later. I forgot to
got close towards the end.
Afterwards, and I found that they came back and rallied and won the game. That was great. We're in third place.
We took our foot off the gas in that Denver game.
And then I listened to the replays, and I listened to Malone screaming about how many times his guys got beat in the backcourt and so forth. And it was just, he was not happy man at all. So,
well, when is he happy? He's never happy. He's a grump.
Well, he's happy.
I mean, here's the thing: if the Lakers get the 3 seed, that means OKC and
don't
Houston
play the 1 seed
likely
until the end.
And then we won't have to. The 3 seed, when you look at the brackets, actually might be better. I mean, they're kind of still.
You just don't want Denver to be the one that's also a 2 or 3.
No, I don't think Denver's going to get as high as 2.
I don't want to play Denver earlier in the.
No, I'd rather get Denver. Let's move it. Let's get it out of the way. Let's not get banged. I think that's the key to success. There is this. Just I mean, they're a great team. I'm not going to take anything away from what Denver's accomplished over the last couple of years. Aaron Gordon's always underrated. He always kills us on the back end.
What is MBJ?
Jamal Murray lives to make a clutch 3-point shot with the shot clock winding down in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes.
Joker's the best player in the world.
Joker will do something like this and it'll go in. That's what's gonna happen. And everybody will be like, oh, they were banged up, but they still, man. I don't want to hear it. Let's get it over with. Let's fight them early. Let's get it done.
I'm actually not even worried about Denver.
I'm worried about any playoff team.
Luka has Denver's number.
He has Phoenix's number. He doesn't have Denver's number.
He has Denver's number too.
Does he?
Michael, let me bring you in on this action here. Your thoughts on the upcoming road trip after tonight's game against Chicago. It's a 4-game road trip. They go to Orlando, Indiana, back to Chicago at the United Center after dealing with Chicago tonight. And then, of course, the biggest game of all is a week from today at Memphis. I know that a lot of people are already screaming like Doobie 8 in a row. We don't know what's up ahead for the Lakers, if they'll start resting people, et cetera, in preparation for the game on the 31st with Houston. But I'm assuming they're going to bring their full quartet to Memphis and Houston. Your thoughts on the upcoming road trip with those 4 teams?
Well, there's Orlando can be dangerous because they're a good defensive team, so they're going to keep you close. But they can't hit the ocean from the beach, man. They're just a terrible shooting team. I'm not too worried about. Pacers can be tough, but I'm not worried about that. The only team that in that 4 games would be Memphis. That would be a real challenge if Ja is back. I don't know how much longer he's going to be out. Yeah. He's been hurt for quite some time now, and they've been kind of falling down since then, So will he be available? I don't know the extent of his injury, but he hasn't played for a little while, and they've fallen behind us by a few games because of it.
But they always come back. They always come back when we play them, man.
Yeah, the thing about them though is we already have the tiebreaker on them. So even if we lost that, we would have we have that in our back pocket as well in case that comes down to it. The interesting thing about the tiebreaker, though, a lot of these tiebreakers.
7 of 8 games. He's missed 7 of 8 games.
Yeah. Here's the if though. We have to win our division. We can't let Golden State pass us. So we have to hold on to that top spot in our division to make all of those other tiebreakers work. So I hope, they're only 3 games back on us, but again, we have the tie break with them already 3-0. So we're basically 4 games ahead of them.
I think Golden State's going to have a problem because Curry's going to be out I think he's going to be out at least a week.
Yeah.
With the pelvic contusion.
Jaylen Brown over in Boston, he could be out for a long time. There's some big injuries happening right now. So hopefully we're past our big injuries, and we can be healthy, going down. And that's the good thing about this with LeBron missing as much time as he did. He's going to be fresh.
It's like 2020 all over again, isn't it?
When he's fresh, that Luka's the greatest thing that ever happened to LeBron.
Luka missed half the year also too. He missed like 40 games.
Yeah. So Luka's been great for LeBron from the standpoint that he doesn't have to carry the load anymore, and let's not sleep on Austin. That's the thing about what we can do that a lot of teams can't do. Like, for instance, Denver, we're talking about Denver. Denver has a hard time winning the non-joker minutes. When we play Denver, we can have Austin and Luka. We can have Austin and LeBron, or we can have Austin and Luka and LeBron.
We can have
that's the thing.
On the floor all 48 minutes
playing against.
No, Michael, you hit it all around the head as far as it's concerned. Winning those non-LeBron minutes. Remember, that's been a problem forever. In the AD LeBron era, it was winning those non-LeBron minutes. So I think now you really hit it right on the head. Okay, LeBron's out. You still have Luka and Austin in there, Michael.
Yeah, and let's not sleep on Rui coming back either. Mm-hmm. Rui and Luka seemed to click right away, and had some great games with Rui and Luka. So that gives you a fourth guy that they got to worry about. Then you also have to worry about Jackson on those lobs.
He's scoring twice as many points with Luka at point guard than he was with LeBron at point guard.
Yeah, so it's like this is
he's the third.
Offensively, we haven't even scratched the surface yet. I don't think we haven't been together enough to really know what this offense is going to look like. But all of the tools are there for this to be a top 2 or 3 offense once we get healthy. The only thing that's going to hold us back in the playoffs is our lack of experience playing together. Whereas some of these, OKC's, this is 4th year this roster's been together, a 3rd year, other than Hartenstein and Caruso. They've been together a long time. Denver's been together forever. The Celtics have been together for a lot of the top teams have continuity, which might, be a problem for us in a playoff series.
I want to say though, given the skill sets of LeBron, Luka, and Reeves, I kind of think that the chaotic approach, shall we say, to the Lakers offense it makes it hard. I hear what you're saying, that there's not this is what we can fall back on and it's successful, but there's also what are these guys going to do factor for the defense, and that you don't know. And like both Luka and LeBron are good enough in terms of the passing game to just hit the open man. I'll be right back.
What you look at too with that is, we're talking about all these, more 3-point attempts, but the quality of those 3-point attempts has just skyrocketed. I mean, guys can have a cup of coffee in the corner, bounce the ball 4 or 5 times, get in a rhythm, wave hi to their mom, and then take the shot. They're that wide open. I mean, it's just some of those open looks are just ridiculous. And we got guys that can knock them down. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that Gabe Vincent's 3-point shooting has soared since we got Luka.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah. Guys, I got to take off for the day. Thank you, Gerald. You're a lifesaver. I owe you a holiday tin of cookies that I'll bake myself. So you might want to just throw them out the back of a van as soon as you get them.
There you go.
You guys are awesome. Go Lakers.
I'll throw them a Teslas for you, my friend.
No comment.
There you go. I'm just kidding, Mike. I'm just kidding, everyone. But yes, it is, of course,
down with fascism. Right. See you later.
Jamie Street, go ahead and check him out today at Lakerholics.com. Tom, let's get back to you. We're going to close this out here in just a few minutes. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break Lakerholics weekend. Go ahead and check out what they're doing today at Lakerholics.com. Laker Tom, want to go ahead and ask your thoughts on this. You've been talking about what's going on with everything on your blog that people need to follow at Lakerholics.com. Laker Tom, go ahead and describe what your latest article is going on at Lakerholics.com.
Well, I think one of the remarkable things that has happened with the Lakers is that all we heard during the entire year was that you can't have a championship backcourt with Austin Reeves in it because he can't play defense. He's going to get switch hunted all of the time, and he's going to get forced out of the game. And when we look at what's happening, and this is all going on in the background while all of these deals were happening, the DFS trade and the Luka trade, because JJ had basically switched the offense or defense around to protect the guys like Austin. He didn't want to leave guys sitting on an island. He wanted to make more of a team defense than an individual defense. And so the best way to do that was to basically turn aggressive and be proactive. If somebody tried to pick on Austin or pick on Dalton or pick on Luka, then basically they turn it around on them and they trap them and rotate and hope that they can swarm enough people in there to get an interception and have a fast break. All of that effort basically has released a lot of defensive effort that Austin was making before that was frustrating, because both he and Luka have basically been playing much better defense than they had played in previous situations. And I think a lot of this whole situation in the defense was pretty remarkable when you think that the first major strategic, basketball decision that JJ Redick made was on defense, not offense. It was to basically stop doing the drop coverage and start having the center come up aggressively and start doubling and forcing people to not be able to pick on any of our weaker defenders, force them into a team defense situation. And that has been so successful that there's no question now that Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic can be a surviving backcourt. And yet when that trade was first announced, that was the thing that everybody said. How is he going to survive with two poor defending white guys at guard? That's not a backcourt that's going to be successful in today's NBA. You need athletes. You need guys who really got some hops, and you need somebody who can play point of attack defense and so forth. And yet JJ has somehow managed to do what great coaches are supposed to do, which is to take your basic fundamental philosophy of basketball and how you win and instill the guys that you've got to play that way, but also to adjust the systems that you're using to take advantage and to optimize the players that you have to emphasize their strengths and to cover up for their weaknesses. And he's done a terrific job of that. And when you look at the remarkable things that have happened in this season just so far, between 222 days was the distance between the hiring of JJ Redick and the trade for Luka Doncic. Those two moves within 222 days have totally changed not only the short-term, but the long-term future of the Los Angeles Lakers. And as we watched JJ work and we watched the players that Rob Pelinka has assembled on this lineup, and it's the return of guys that have been injured that haven't come through for us for a couple of years, like Gabe Vincent, and like Jared Vanderbilt. And it's the new guys that they've added in the two-way contract. It's the trade for DFS. It's the trade for Luka, obviously, that's translated into a whole new different feeling for the Lakers. And it'll be interesting to see, because I think the Lakers are going to do real well. I think they're going to win 10 of the next 13 games. I think they're going to end up with 53, 54 wins. I think they're going to go into the playoffs at the number 2 seed and as the co-favorites for the Western Conference. And I think they're going to go all the way and win a championship this year.
Well, you called it before, from 6th place to a championship at the beginning of the season. Now, hopefully it'll be a lot higher than that. On their way to another title, as we hope here at the Lakers Fast Break. But Michael, always great to have you here as well, mediating between you and Jamie throughout the week. I know it's as exhausting as what the Lakers have gone through this past week as well. But for you, some final thoughts, my friend, in detail on what you're expecting tonight and going forward in the short term regarding the Lakers' big upcoming road schedule this next week.
Well, tonight I'm looking for, we're going to win this game. It might be a little ragged. We're getting guys that haven't played for, especially if LeBron and Rui both play. The other guy, it'll be a little ragged. It's going to be like it's going to be kind of like a practice in some regards, because they haven't played an entire unit together for so long that they really need this as a tune-up. I think we should be able to. We have all all hands on deck. We should be able to, I think, sweep the road trip, especially if Jaw's still not back. They've been struggling without Jaw, and he is really, really important to that ball club because they have some other really great players, but they don't have any other great playmakers. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that we can. I don't know exactly what we're going to finish down the stretch. I think we're going to win most of the games down the stretch. We will definitely be probably a top 4 seed, which, if you recall, that on the poll you took, Gerald, that I had us as the 4th seed the beginning of the year. So
no, I think you had 6. No one had higher than 6.
I had a 4. I had 4th.
I'll take a look. Look.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that it's going to be tough. From the one standpoint, lack of continuity could hurt us, but then you have the high basketball IQs on this squad, with LeBron and Luka, Austin. The interesting thing about Tommen is on their defensive, abilities as a backcourt. One of the things that the JJ scheme has done, both Luka and Austin have extremely high basketball IQs, and they are reading these passing lanes out of those defenses, and they are both just gobbling up the steals.
Okay, yes, you did. You did have them 4th. Yes, you're the only one who had them above 6. So, yeah, you sent it to me a little later. That's why. Okay, I see it.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the daisy chain of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was late because I always wait till the very end of the training camp to get my.
Yes, I remember that now. Yes. Okay, so you. But yours was the only one that's above 6. Yes, I'll give you credit for that. Absolutely.
Yes, but to my discredit, things have changed a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think we're set up. If we can't get it done this year, I think we're set up for next year. We've got the squad, just a little bit more experience. The roster does need major overhauls. A tweak or two, would be enough for this team to be a legitimate player for next year as well. So I'm optimistic. I don't see anybody that in our way that we could not beat. OKC is a tough out, but the thing about it is that Holmgren, he probably weighs 190 pounds or something like that. I mean, Rui and both Rui and LeBron can take care of him, as far as muscling him around. And who's he going to guard? Is he going to be out on the perimeter guarding Rui, or is he going to be out on the perimeter guarding LeBron? That's going to be a matchup. We talk about their matchup problems for us. That's going to be a matchup problem for them as well. I mean, they're a great defensive team, but how do they match up with Luka and LeBron and Austin and Rui? With their
their third best defender is going to guard Austin. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and then who guards Rui? I mean,
their 4th best defender.
So it's going to be tough for them too. So I don't see anybody in our way that we can't beat. I'm not saying that we will. I'm just saying I'm optimistic, and I think I can't wait. For this next stretch of games, just to see them come together as a team. Because, like I said, they've been. There's been just a variety of, even when LeBron was playing, other guys were out. And it's just like, we just haven't had an opportunity just to see this group play that many games together. So that's what I'm looking forward to, seeing how they look as we go down the stretch as a unit.
I'll tell you what.
What time are those road games then in Hawaii?
What's that?
One of the things that I like about the road trips is that I can always turn on a game at 4 or 5 o'clock.
This will be 2 o'clock. It'll be like 2 o'clock.
Road games here are 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's nice.
Yes.
Yeah, but not if you're at work. But,
Well,
but I do get off. I do get off early enough to, I only work part time, so I do get off early enough to catch most of them. And if I can't, Sportsnet usually replays them, so I don't miss them.
There you go. Always good for the islands. It is Michael Heinrich along with Jamie Sweet and, of course, Laker Tom. Go ahead and check out these guys. Also, big shout out to L Rob, who are a great part of what they do right there for you at Lakerholics.com. This is their advertisement of the week. They're advertising to you to go ahead and check out Lakerholics.com. I also want to give a big shout out to John Costa. I know he's been suffering with COVID past few days. John, I hope you're on the mend and feeling better, and hopefully you'll be able to be a part of what we're doing tonight, because tonight is the Lakers and the Bulls. Please join us on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Will LeBron what?
Who's left on
It's
the poll?
Yes, 4:30 Hawaiian time. 4:30 Hawaiian time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Will LeBron come back? He is listed as the eternal questionable. We'll find out if it is indeed time for him to return.
He looked pretty good running around that gym making those dunks.
Yes,
Yeah,
but he's questionable as he flies in the air. It's questionable.
Yeah, I know. He's just,
But straight line with a groin is different than side to side.
yeah, that's true.
Cutting. Yes, cutting. And going, yes, there you go, Michael. But we'll
Just don't
see.
get
It is,
hurt,
of course.
Ron. Just don't get hurt, man.
Yeah.
Yes, just don't get hurt. Don't get hurt anyone on the Lakers.
Yeah.
There you go.
The other team, that's
yes.
fine. Minor injuries are always acceptable.
Well, Rodell, I'll just say this. If you saw the numbers from the Lakers-Boston game and the fact that the viewing of it for a regular season game was one of the largest in years, that will tell you all you need to know about how the casual audience out there is understanding and viewing about how Luka becoming a Laker is now really can't miss television. So we'll see what happens there indeed. But again, it is the Lakerholics crew at Lakerholics.com, and we'll be back tonight for more fun. Of course, playback, and then, of course, the best post game that's out there right here at the Lakers Fast Break. So for Michael Heinrich, Jamie Sweet, and Laker Tom, it's Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. We'll be back later tonight. Will the Lakers finally get everyone back together? We'll find out, and we'll talk about it